You've found Wickett on Wisconsin, your one-stop podcast for all things Packers, Brewers, Bucks, and the rest of your favorite teams from all over the state of Wisconsin. We're powered by Wisconsin Sports Heroics, online at wisportsheroics.com and the Wisconsin Podcast Association. And now, here's your host, Mike Wickett.
All right, so normally I wait to do this podcast on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, throughout the week because I, like you, especially after a loss by the Green Bay Packers like that, have to let things kind of subside, emotions, all that stuff. But today, I really wanted to jump on this one early after the 27-22 loss in London to the New York Giants. Now, a lot of blame to go around, a lot of questions, a lot of same old song stuff coming out of this. Before I get to anything Packer-related, shout out to the Giants. Nobody gave you a shot. One of the biggest upsets in Packers history based on point spread. An 8-point favorite, and I don't know how many people actually gave straight up the Giants a chance to win. They're now 4-1. I mean, you're 4-1. Your record says what you are. I mean, Green Bay's 3-2. The Giants are 4-1, and Brian Daboll is looking like the best first-year head coach in the National Football League. I don't know if anybody expected that, but look what he's getting out of that roster with Daniel Jones and, Saquon Barkley, who's a stud, but a team that for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years, ever since they last won a Super Bowl, has been a joke. So shout out to the Giants. They didn't listen to any of the critics, any of the experts. They didn't listen to anybody tell them who was listening. Nobody on that team was listening. That they had no shot to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, who were all of a sudden rolling. Because if you listened to last week's podcast, I was incredibly optimistic about where Green Bay was going and how I felt. I felt the offense was moving along. I thought things were coming together. I felt the defense was playing at an elite level. Is it weird to say that Daniel Jones and company are the best offense this defense has faced all year? And it sure showed it. It sure looked like it. I mean, you had Brady without his weapons. The Bears suck. They did a relatively decent job on Jefferson and company in week 1, but I don't take anything ever out of week 1. Bailey Zappi took them to overtime. There's a lot of criticism going around about this offense, but I do want to start with the defense. And I don't know what it is, man. Joe Barry's soft zone coverage that he's going to keep on playing. The nickel coverage against that quarterback. And I don't care how good of a day Daniel Jones had today. I'll pull up his full stats for you. There's no way Green Bay should be getting picked apart in any realm by Daniel Jones. 21 of 27 for 217 yards. Didn't throw a touchdown pass. Didn't have a pick. Didn't seemingly get pressured by any blitz whatsoever. They were very content with rushing 4 and letting Daniel Jones beat them. And every time it became 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, they just picked it up. They ran the same stuff the Vikings did, which was crossing routes from 10 to 15 yards and even further in some plays across the middle, and Green Bay had nothing. That's how Jefferson ate him up in week 1. And the Giants' defensive staff looked at that and said, you know what? They don't change. They're not going to change anything. And they didn't. They did exactly the same thing Minnesota did to them, and there were 0 adjustments made. And it got even worse when Jones, who's a lot more mobile than Kirk Cousins, was able to pick up 6, 8 yards whenever he needed to on a 3rd and 8. It was frustrating. There was never anything exotic done. It was, if they occasionally did win their matchups, they would occasionally pressure Jones, who still, the dude can run. We know that. He's a good dual-threat quarterback. He's not a great dual-threat quarterback, but he has the ability to run and throw. And they had no answer for Daniel Jones, one of the most pathetic things I've ever heard on a television broadcast. This is the first time Daniel Jones has thrown for 200 yards all season. 200 yards is nothing. 200 yards is not a good day, but it was the best day he had all year, and it came against Green Bay. And it came against Green Bay on an international stage when the entire world woke up early to watch this game. Some of us have 3 toddlers and they were up anyway. That's what I do. But this defense, whether you want to pin it on one player or this defense with Joe Barry has proven nothing this year. Not a thing. Not a thing against it. I mean, that's still not even an offense that has its full complement of players, and they're certainly not all healthy. And that's been the story all year. Now, you have to play who's in front of you, sure. But they should have shut that team down. And they only allowed 10 points in the first half. It was 20-10 at halftime. And they had one player doing damage. One. There was one play to Slayton, but they had one guy doing damage, and it was Saquon Barkley. And they actually did a relatively decent job of bottling Saquon Barkley up. He didn't rush for, 250 today. Especially in the first half, they did a relatively decent job of bottling him up. But when it came down to it, and those 2 late drives where the Giants went basically through the Packers' defense like a hot knife through butter, Joe Barry's defense never answered the call. Never answered. Never came in and said, you are not going to get... They bent, they broke. And back-to-back touchdown drives flipped it. Now, I'll talk about the offense here in a second, but the drive in between those back-to-back long drives for New York didn't help the defense whatsoever. The offense did no favors to the defense. Because on one drive, in 8 minutes, the Giants went 15 plays, went 91 yards. Another drive, just 26 seconds off the clock because Green Bay threw. Aaron had to throw 3 deep balls. 6 plays, 60 yards, 3.5 minutes, and another touchdown. So that's 21 plays, over 11.5 minutes, 2 touchdown drives, over 150 yards given up by the defense on those 2 plays, those 2 drives alone. And that's where the game was flipped. Absolutely flipped. Because arrogance. The arrogance of this offense is going to cost this team the playoffs if Matt LeFluer and Aaron Rodgers don't come to the realization that they don't have a world-class aerial attack. What they have is an above-average to really good to maybe great ground game. And they abandon it. Whether it's Aaron's arrogance or it's Matt LeFleur's arrogance or it's a combination of arrogance on offense is going to kill this Packers team this year. You don't have to throw all these downfield passes. You're not good enough offensively to flip a switch. That might have been previous offenses. That might have been when Aaron threw 45 touchdowns and 6 interceptions back like 10 years ago. But this offense right now isn't good enough to abandon the run. There were times today when Matt LeFleur's offense was the most beautiful offense. It was quick. It was motion. There was that one play where Christian Watson came in motion and then ran back behind Aaron Rodgers as a distraction. The touchdown pass to Big Bob, putting Watson in motion, drew 5 defenders off to the right. Aaron dropped it right into Big Bob's hands, Big Dog's hands, not Big Bob, Big Dog, excuse me. I mean, those kinds of things, quick plays, quick throws, this is the same podcast I have been doing for weeks, now just full of piss and vinegar. This is the same podcast I have been doing. When the offense is the LeFluer offense, when it's quick, when there are runs mixed in, when there's guys going in motion, when there's fake jets, that's when the offense works. That's when the offense can go down the field. When it's that crap that happened between the 2 New York Giants touchdown drives that killed not only any opportunity to get points because they can't throw the ball downfield. So why, when you're tied in the 4th quarter in a game in London, is that the time you choose to actually throw the ball downfield? Aaron's not, because he's inaccurate right now downfield. But those are the drives that kill this team. Because not only did you not give yourself a chance to get points, you put your defense right back out there. They were on the field for 8 minutes getting gashed going down the field by Barkley and Jones and whoever else is on that offense that before today you probably had never heard of unless you play fantasy football. And I don't know anybody who drafted Darius Slayton. But those 2 drives, infuriating. But when it did work, there were a couple of drives when the offense just churned out yards. And Aaron looked like a conductor out there, like a maestro with an orchestra. Just, we're going this way, we're going that way. I'm going to have you look over here, and I'm going to throw it over here. It was beautiful. It was the Matt LeFluer, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay offense that looked so great that for so many years under Mike McCarthy, I'm like, God, why doesn't our team have an offense like that? And then you see that hero ball crap, and it happened twice. There were 2 3-and-out drives where it was throw, punt. And you just, it's infuriating, and it's arrogance. I don't know if it's Aaron's arrogance or it's Matt LeFleur's arrogance, but it's arrogance that this team doesn't stick with what's working. If it ain't broke, fix it. No, it's just keep hammering away. It's criminal what they're doing. Speaking of criminal, why? Better question. What did A.J. Dillon and what did Aaron Jones do to deserve this? More on that in a second. But I do want to thank one of our sponsors. And listen, if you're a small business owner or you're a medium-sized business owner and your marketing agency, your digital marketing is underperforming, maybe you don't even have somebody in charge of that. You got to get a hold of my guy, Nick Packard. NickPackard.com. He's right there in Franklin, Wisconsin. He is the guy that can help you strategize and get your team, get your product, get your company seen by people online. Like, quick question, how's your SEO? And you're like, Wickett, what's an SEO? It stands for Search Engine Optimization, a.k.a. when I type in whatever a product is you might sell, if I type in potato chips, does your search engine optimization put your chips to the top of the Google page? If not, if you have to scroll, go to the next page, you need my guy, Nick Packard, okay? He's going to manage your project from start to finish, going to help you get seen. And the cool thing is he's fractional. You're not going to pay for, all this other time. You don't buy him by the bulk. You buy him by the time that you need, okay? And you work directly with him. There's not a whole bunch of people you have to talk to just to get to Nick. If you're a small or a medium-sized business looking to up your marketing game, got to get a hold of my guy, Nick Packard. NickPackard.com. And just for listening to the podcast, you're going to get a free digital ecosystem assessment, a.k.a. they're going to check out your website, your socials, your email marketing. Online today, NickPackard.com. NP Connect, the marketing agency redefined. Online today, NickPackard.com. Tell them Wickett sent you and get that free digital ecosystem test. What has Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon done to piss off Aaron Rodgers or Matt LeFluer? The most frustrating drive in this game wasn't the 3-and-out. Well, one of the more frustrating. Maybe it was. The most crucial drive in this game wasn't the 3-and-out in between the 2 touchdown drives by the Giants. The most crucial drive in this game was the last one. Not the Hail Mary toss. That wasn't. It was the last one. When, lo and behold, despite the last drive, when they went 3-and-out, with 6 minutes to go, the offense came back. Quick throws. Running the ball. Getting the ball to A.J. Dillon. Getting the ball to Aaron Jones. And then they get down to the 5-yard line. It's 3rd and 2. You need 2 yards. You got 2 tries to get 2 yards to get in and tie the game. Aaron Rodgers had 2 balls batted down back-to-back plays. Great job by the Giants, knowing that especially on the last one, when Aaron grabbed his shoulder pad, everything was going right. And they were bringing the house, and everybody shifted right. And Aaron was still going to go right, and he went right. And again, they batted it down. It's a great play. It's a fantastic play. The one before, Aaron threw right into Kayvon Thibodeau's face mask. But you needed 2 yards. You had 2 tries to get 2 yards, and you have running backs who are crushing it. I'm going to bring up stats. Aaron Jones had 13 carries for 63 yards. That's 4.8 yards per carry. A.J. Dillon had 6 carries for 34 yards. That's 5.7 yards per carry. 19 carries for 97 yards. That's about 5 yards per carry. Slam the ball in the belly of one of your 2 stud running backs up the gut and let him pick up 2 yards. Potentially the bigger one of the 2. You don't think A.J. Dillon can fall forward and pick up 2 yards at that moment of the game when the defense should be tired? Horrendous arrogance, whether it was Aaron Rodgers or it was Matt LeFluer. Arrogance. Oh, I can throw on this defense. You needed 2 yards. You needed 2 yards. You had a minute to go. You just had to pick up those 2. Then you went on first down, try to mix things up and throw it around. Whatever you want to do. but you have two stud running backs who you, for whatever reason, decided it's working, but we're not going to give the ball to them for a lot of this game and a lot of this season. It's arrogance, and it's criminal what they're doing. Those guys can catch the ball out of the backfield as well as anybody on this team. Aaron Jones may have the second best hands on the team. Between Randall Cobb, Allen Lazard, and Robert Tonyan, all nice players, 25 targets. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon had a combined 3. 3. The screen pass is dead, or it was today. And then you hear Matt LeFluer. The comment or the quote afterwards, "This is on me. I'm frustrated. Have to go back to the film." I've heard that before. I've heard that after every loss. It's going to be the same thing whoever they play the next 5 games. You're the head coach. You're the offensive coordinator. You're the play caller. You call the plays. I realize Rodgers has autonomy, but you're the head coach. You call the plays. You need to get through to your quarterback that this is the play, and you need to realize that in that situation, you have two running backs who are able to get you your 2 yards. Incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. Arrogance. Oh, we can throw on them. They knew it was coming. When Rodgers grabbed his shoulder pad, everybody shifted right. Everybody knew it was coming. You saw everybody in the defensive line shift. And Green Bay has to come to this realization, too. More arrogance here. They're paying Aaron Rodgers like he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Well, after 5 games, with this offense, that receiving core, that offensive line, Aaron's not the best quarterback in the NFL. He's not even close. But they're still going out there and having him take his shot over and over like he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I just watched Josh Allen from the 2 throw a beautiful 40-yard pass that turned into a 98-yard Gabe Davis touchdown. Happened like the 3rd play of the game for Buffalo or whatever today. I've watched Aaron Rodgers overthrow, underthrow guys on deep routes the entire season. Couple that with the fact that he doesn't have great receivers. I mean, Randall Cobb had 8 targets in the first half alone. Cobb's a nice player, nice piece, older guy, young guys in Dubs and company. This goes back to the offense I was just talking about. If you don't have the ability to throw the ball down the field, stop taking 7 deep shots a game and go back to what is working, what is effective. And if your tackles, David Bakhtiari was in the game, out of the game, in the game, out of the game, in the game, out of the game. Elton Jenkins stinks right now playing right tackle. Royce Newman is the reason Rodgers took a sack at guard. Your offensive line can't pass protect well enough for Aaron Rodgers to perform like he's the best quarterback in the league, and you don't have receivers to catch passes. All of this is a bad combination. So why do we continue to put the pressure on this passing game when you have running backs who are capable of getting you 5 yards per carry? Both of them are. Both of them are. It's arrogance. It is the theme of this podcast. It is the arrogance of Aaron Rodgers. It is the arrogance of Matt LeFluer. It is incredibly frustrating to watch this product out there knowing they're doing everything wrong at crucial times. I mean, they were up 20-10. You had a 10-point lead at halftime on the New York Giants. Wrap it up here in a second. Shout out to another one of our sponsors. You know the old phrase, I feel the need for speed came back this summer with, of course, the new Top Gun movie. If you love speed, you got to go see my friends over at Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove, Wisconsin, the fastest quarter mile in the Midwest. If you're a gearhead, you love to drive fast, just like watching machines fly down the track, then you're in luck because Great Lakes Dragaway is for you. It's great family fun, entertainment. They have nights for everybody. They got bike nights, hot rod nights, truck nights, nitrous nights. The whole schedule is up at GreatLakesDragaway.com. And as you know, here we are in October. Snow's coming. Great Lakes Dragaway is open until the snow flies. So you got plenty of time to get down there. Check out the schedule, GreatLakesDragaway.com. And if you have a racing fan, a gearhead on your Christmas list, make sure you get him a gift card. GreatLakesDragaway.com makes a great gift for the racing fan on your list. GreatLakesDragaway.com. And thanks to my friends at Great Lakes Dragaway for your support Been partners with these guys for over a decade, and they are awesome. GreatLakesDragaway.com. Now's the time when I run over statistics for you so you can know how all these guys, how all your favorite players did on your fantasy teams. Just so frustrating. I mean, stats are this, stats are that, but just incredibly frustrating to sit here and watch this Packers team, and you know it's coming. Like, it feels like one of those McCarthy years where the defense under Dom was just unable to stop anything, and the offense was so predictable. Aaron Rodgers, 25 of 39 for 222 and 2 touchdowns, did nothing in the second half. Aaron Jones, 13 carries, 63 yards. Also caught a pair of balls for 17. I've said forever that dude needs 22 touches a game. 22. He got 15. And he had 80 yards. 15 touches, 80 yards. A.J. Dillon, 6 carries, 34 yards. Didn't even catch a pass. You threw the ball to your two best running backs a total of 3 times, completing 2 of them. Randall Cobb, 7 catches on 13 targets for 99 yards. Hopefully you picked him up in fantasy. Alan Lazard, 4 for 35. Had the 1 touchdown. Romeo Doubs. I expected bigger things. You know why I expected bigger things out of Romeo Doubs? Because you watch the Giants on defense, and I don't know who it was, but it was one of the people I follow on Twitter named Dusty, and shout out to Dusty. You watch the Giants play defense, they play a lot of single high. And just like the Patriots who play a lot of single high, you look at them and you're like, you should be able to throw on this team. Well, the Patriots jam you at the line. They play physical man at the line before they play a lot of single high safety. So it's tough for guys to get off. The Giants don't. They play 5-7 yards off your wide receivers. Seeing that, I would think, Green Bay is going to be able to have some success throwing the ball down the field. This could be Romeo Doubs. And Rodgers took his shots, and Rodgers was off. Again, 5th game in a row. You know, the best deep ball he's thrown this year was the Watson pass, and Watson didn't catch it. Bobby Tunyon, 4 for 23. That's all that matters. All right. Saquon Barkley, 13 carries, 70 yards. 3 catches, 36 yards. So really 16 touches for 106 yards and a touchdown. That's not gashing you. They did a decent job on Saquon Barkley, but they had no answer for everybody else, and they had no answer for Daniel Jones. It's the most impressive 217-yard passing day I've ever seen in my life. So now they're 3-2. Last week, full of optimism. Now, Jets come into Lambeau, then they go to Washington, and then does anybody believe that team, that offense, and that defense is going to have anything for Sunday Night Football at Buffalo? That's going to be one of those games. Right now, the way I'm feeling, that's going to be one of those games where you're going to get a lot of text messages from the Packers haters, all right? From Bear fan, from Viking fan, from anybody who's not a Packers fan on that Sunday night game. You're going to get a lot of text messages that night when it's 28-6. Hope I'm wrong. Hope I am wrong. All right. I usually don't do these on game day, but had to. Don't forget, like, share, review the podcast, subscribe wherever you are listening to it. We're on like 80 different platforms, including Apple, Spotify, and Google. Thank you so much for checking out the pod this week. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll do one this week. Depends on my frustration level. Hearing all the same quotes from Matt LeFluer and Aaron Rodgers about how we got to get better and look at the film, and it's early. And it is early. I mean, we're only in the first week of October, so anybody's going to say that is 100% right. It is still early. Nothing really matters till Halloween. It's always been my take. But boy, oh boy, 5 weeks in a row, a lot of the same frustrations. I am done. As always, go Pack, go. Go Bucks, and go Brewers.